They proud of me, and they proud of like the way I represent the community. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything, because that means the world to me. You know, or like when I go home and this kid, you know, from the West Bank is like so accepted in New Orleans now. Like I wouldn't change that. You know, never. All I ever wanted to do was be accepted. You know, and want it. So yeah, like that, I wouldn't change. You know, it's like I just see these people on TV who like aren't better than me, but I know I've never been at the tables they've been accepted at. So yeah, you know, there's some things I think I would do differently because I feel like I let them win.
A lot of things struck me in this interview. Again, salute to everybody this year. Make sure y'all like the stream. One of the things that really that I looked at, I'm like, interesting, was how Ryan Clark talked about how he finally felt accepted in Louisiana, I believe New Orleans. He finally felt accepted by the people that he grew up around. Is that why he goes out of his way to show how black he is? Like, Ryan, you don't have to do that. Your deeds and the things that you do for people will speak louder than anything you tweet, right? Or anything that you say on TV. And I think Ryan really thought that he was unfireable. Nobody in this day and age is unfireable. But when enough important people don't like you, you're going to be out of there. And I think Ryan at the time did not understand how many enemies he had at ESPN. Crying over your job is not going to help you. I know you because, you know, he talked about in his interview. He said, you know what? I was taking care of a lot of people, because not only did he have his business with the Pivot podcast, but he also was making that $2 million a year, which he publicly campaigned for, which ESPN never forgave him for, because, you know, people don't do that at ESPN, right? Again, make sure y'all like the stream if you haven't. If you're new, subscribe. If you're watching, you're wondering, should I subscribe? Subscribe. You know what I'm saying? He's there, and he's talking about how he has to support a lot of people. And again, when you publicly negotiate with companies like ESPN, they never forget that. And they will always hold that against you. And every time you get into it with the Peter Schrager or you speak up for Kyron Lacey, they are saying, look, he needs to go. And every situation Ryan gets himself into, they're just waiting to do it. And that is why they leaked it and fired him while he was live on the show. Because by then, this is too late. Ryan went to Shaw, a Catholic school on the West Bank. That's a national football powerhouse. People used to call him an Oreo, especially since he always dated white women. Wow. And his eldest daughter's white. And I think Ryan has always felt like he needed to be really, really pro-black in order to make up for that. And again, that's why in his interview, again, we're going to get to it. We're going to slow walk this. We got time. Ain't in a rush, right? We're going to react to that. But I want y'all to hear my commentary and not just me looking at somebody else's video. So Ryan went to a Catholic school because, again, and when he did his Pivot interview, right, his Pivot podcast interview, he talked about, and he got emotional, crying about, you know, being from the West Bank, right, and not feeling accepted, right, not feeling black enough. And now he feels accepted. Now he feels black enough. That's why he would go on TV and say the things that he said. This is why he would go after people. He'd go after Cam Newton. Why do you have Jason Whitlock on your show? Because he wanted to be accepted by these people. Let me tell you who you should be accepted by. You should be accepted by your family and the people that you help in your life along the way. Getting on social media and getting on TV pandering, saying egregious things because you want a certain segment of people to accept you, bro, they will never accept you. They will make fun of you. And they're the ones making fun of you now, crying over the fact that you lost your job at ESPN and you never saw it coming. How did you not see it coming, Ryan? Now, and again, in his interview, his pivot interview, he said that he felt that people felt some type of way about him after this past football season. And he felt that the energy was off. That's because they wanted to get rid of you. They just didn't know how. But they wanted to. And that's why, again, you can't get on social media and make a fool of yourself. Get on TV and make a fool of yourself crying. Y'all remember when he cried about, and again, I don't agree with this. What's good, boss lady? When he said that his son was called an N-word or disrespected by an older white woman, his son should have cussed that white woman out. Now, again, maybe that's not how he raised the son. People say, that's not how he raised the son. What are you talking about? Now, we don't know what happened. We don't know the full story. All we know is what Ryan Clark said. And he cried on TV about that. Like, you could just tell this guy has deep emotional wounds. And it comes out in what he believes is helping people. But Ryan is probably one of those people who also rubs people the wrong way. There are people who may smile in Ryan Clark's face and tell him that they like him and that they cool with him, but behind the scenes, they don't. I know Ryan personally. We had a bad fight, but I moved past that. I honestly wish he hadn't been fired. You know what's interesting, Brian? I don't think he should have been fired either. I disagree with Ryan, but Ryan was a very good analyst. But I just think that he at times tends to think that he is the moral police of black people. And I just don't think he should focus on that. He should focus on his job as an analyst. Now, if he wants to get on his podcast and say certain things, that's a different story. Just like when Stephen A. Now, Stephen A. says crazy things, but he has more value than Ryan Clark. Let's be real. At ESPN, he has more value. But he has his own separate platform that he's building, which is smart, because there's going to come a time when Stephen A. is on the chopping block at ESPN. You better believe that. That day is going to come, because ESPN is a failing network. They're a failing network. So Stephen A. Smith may find himself in the same spot because they're a failing network. Him being with a white woman made what he said about RG3. Yeah, because it's like, how can you say what you say about Robert when you've been not only with a white woman, but you have a child with her? But a lot of these guys have regret about dating white women because they want to be accepted by black people. And they're like, well, damn, let me go get a black wife and have black kids and have this black family to make up for the fact that I do have a biracial child. And I want to get on social media and TV and be very political. He said his son held the door for a white woman and she didn't say thank you. Oh, if she don't listen, I've held, that was a time or two I've held the door for a woman and she didn't say anything. I just kept it moving. That's on you. I'm not going to sit there and argue with her. I'm not going to say nothing to her. I'm just going to walk. Okay. That situation shouldn't have escalated. Because that happens a lot, actually. You have women who you walk past, you'll say hey to. They won't say nothing to you. Look at you like you're crazy. And I'll say, oh, I see why you probably have a miserable life. I would have cursed that be out too, right? Yeah, if she would have said anything disrespectful to me or my kid, I'd think, man, you cuss her out. Ryan's son should have G-checked that troglodyte. Right, if she said something disrespectful, he should have checked her. Absolutely. Because because his son is like what? Now I could be wrong. Now isn't his son on his way to college or close to going to college? You're gonna have to handle these situations on your own. Hot takes in sports have destroyed these TV shows and podcasts. It has, unfortunately. I remember watching ESPN when all they talked about were the topics, and they would talk about these topics in a very entertaining manner, right? Salute to Brian.
Clark.
His son Jordan's a good kid. Nah, Jay, he played at Notre Dame, and now he's playing for the Jets. He's not the kind of kid who will curse a woman out. Oh, okay. Okay, so he's been in college, and okay, he's playing for the Jets. Wait a minute. Is his okay? Hold on. Let me do a little research real quick, because I think I've heard of his son. That's who his son is. I know I heard that name. I heard that name for Jordan Clark. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because there was a defensive back for Notre Dame with that name I'd heard before. Okay. You know. Yeah. I mean, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? ESPN is Disney, and now ESPN is woke, and not a lot of people understand it. Good to see you switching up when you go live. Yeah, I am switching up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because I've. But let me say this, right? Somebody brought up Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith couldn't quote unquote save him, right? This is why Stephen A. Smith, when he gets into beefs with people, he needs to stop talking about how much power he got at ESPN. Because y'all have heard Stephen A. Smith, brag about how much, power he has at ESPN. Well, we know that's BS, because you couldn't help Ryan Clark or Cam Newton, and Cam Newton is on your show. Make sure y'all like the stream if you haven't. Yeah, I know I went live on Saturday last week. I was gonna go live on Saturday this week, but I decided to go live Sunday. So the Stephen A. Smith thing, Stephen A. Smith, when you get into issues, the problems with people, don't be bragging about how much power you got at ESPN when clearly you claim you have none. You claim. Now, with Ryan Clark, you couldn't help Ryan Clark. They don't work on the same show. But Cam Newton, to me, is a different story. Because Cam Newton works with Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith couldn't keep him. So who got Max Kellerman fired? How did Max Kellerman get fired? Did ESPN decide that, you know what, we want to fire him? No, Stephen A. Smith went to his bosses and say this ain't working. And you know what they did? They got rid of Max Kellerman. So Stephen A. Smith should stop talking about how much power he got at ESPN when he get into beefs with people. When in reality, he really has none, according to him, right? And couldn't help Ryan, so.